Texas Tech is currently hosting two high school prospects this weekend out in the 806. But the Red Raiders are still being aggressive in the portal as they are currently in the mix for an SEC guard. Who is it? We'll discuss that as well as look at the portal for Texas Tech and recap who they've landed so far, retained, and much more. Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's RC Maxfield here for the Back to 12 podcast. Appreciate y'all tuning in to today's video. A lot to unpack. We know that Nolan Groves, and then we've got Mika Marinin out on campus for Texas Tech this weekend on official visits. Nolan Groves, the Minnesota Gatorade Men's Basketball Player of the Year in the high school ranks. And then you've got Mika Marinin, who is a top 10 overall player in the 2026 class with the potentially to possibility, I should say, to reclassify. We'll talk about them later on. If any news breaks, you know where to go right here on the Back to 12 podcast channel. But we are going to start with an overview of who Texas Tech has landed in the portal and who they have retained, and also where some guys have also landed that Texas Tech has seen leave the 806. You can see it on your screen right there. They haven't updated it yet, has on 3. But Kevin Overton is actually committed to Auburn. Yes, he will play for Bruce Pearl in the SEC for a team that made it to the Final Four last year. He will likely take over the Chaz Baker-Mazara role down in Auburn for the Tigers. Now, we know that Donovan Atwell, Lawan Watts, Tyree Bryan have all committed to Texas Tech. Those are the 3 big additions via the portal. Obviously, Darion Williams, we'll keep you monitored on that front. Still the same old in terms of Texas Tech is in the mix. To what degree? Not entirely sure, but he is one of the top players in the portal and is highly coveted by a ton of schools, including the likes of BYU, Kentucky, and others. Now, Amelia Lahu has also entered the portal for Texas Tech, and the Red Raiders have retained a couple players. You may have heard of the likes of JT Toppin and Christian Anderson. Yeah, those guys are pretty good. So Texas Tech has retained those 2 guys, and those guys will be obviously the leaders for the Red Raiders headed into the 2025-2026 season out in the 806. Now let's discuss the latest portal target for the Red Raiders, and you can see him on your screen right now. It is Florida guard Denzel Aberdeen. He plans to enter the portal. That according to On3's Joe Tipton, the 6'5 junior scored 22 points on South Carolina and 20 points on Mississippi State earlier this season, and he played an underrated role in the Gators winning a national championship. He was the next guard off the bench for the Gators, right? Obviously, you had Walter Clayton, you had Richard, you had a couple other guys there as well. Texas Tech, unfortunately, all too familiar with this Florida team, but Grant McCaslin and crew have proven time and time again that they are willing to target players that they have played, whether it's in the Big 12 or elsewhere in non-con or the NCAA tournament, and the shoe fits here in Denzel Aberdeen. Now, let's take a look at his stats for this past season, and I'll be honest with you, they don't wow you too much. You can see it on your screen right there, 7.7 points per game, 1.7 rebounds per game, and 1.4 assists as a junior on the national championship team. He will have 1 year of eligibility left. He is 6'5", 195 pounds, originally from Orlando. It sounds like the other schools in the mix here are the likes of Georgia, which obviously has a connection in the sense that Mike White is the coach at Georgia. He was the coach prior to Golden at Florida, actually left Florida for Georgia Wild when you think about it. And he was the lead recruiter for Denzel Aberdeen. Now, the interesting part in terms of recruiting in Texas Tech, this is not the first time Texas Tech as a program has recruited Denzel Aberdeen. In fact, Texas Tech actually made the top 8 of Denzel Aberdeen's high school list. See the photo there? Let's scroll on down real quick. Look at the date there, August 13th, 2021. So this was during the Mark Adams era. Now, I'll get the stats back on your screen for you right now. This is a player, in my opinion, that, well, we'll save it here for just a second. Let's go over his skill set. He is a tough, physical, and long guard who can beat you in a multitude of ways, whether it's off the bounce, 52% field goal percentage at the rim. That shows his toughness, his creativity, and he's also a pretty damn good shooter from the outside, 35%. He is a much better catch and shoot spot up guy as a catch and shoot shooter or on catch and shoot shots. He's 76th percentile, and he can be involved and excel in various ways where he can run around, kind of play that Chance McMillan role. And I'll get to my, comparison here in a minute. But he can play that type of role, right? And as I mentioned, this is not the first time that Texas Tech as a program has recruited Denzel Aberdeen. So you look at some of the traits that he has: solid passer, 13% assist rate, especially in the pick and roll. I think that's where he is much better, because in isolation and in transition, truth be told, I think those are areas in his game that he can improve drastically in. Okay. But when it comes to the pick and roll, I think he's a really solid player, specifically when he has the ball in his hands as the ball handler in a pick and roll set. He actually ranks in terms of that in the 69th percentile. Not too bad. Some would even say nice. But shooting wise, this is where you see the drastic splits. Okay. I already mentioned it in terms of the catch and shoot, 76th percentile, according to Synergy nationally there. Off the bounce, shooting the basketball, he's 18th percentile. Butt cheeks. Not good. Okay. But the reason I think he's not very good when he shoots off the dribble is he tends to lean a little bit. Okay. Like when he carries his momentum if he's going left to shoot the ball, right? He carries his momentum right if he's carrying to shoot the ball. Going forward, backwards, whatever it is, right? Like that's the big tell, in my opinion, where his shoulders don't get square. But when his shoulders are square and he gets to actually shoot the ball the way he wants to, he's a sniper from the outside. I mean, perfect example. As a spot-up shooter, he ranks 90th percentile, 1.2 points per possession. That is crazy, okay? And again, as I mentioned, solid pick-and-roll player, 69th percentile. Aberdeen, in my opinion, okay? And some will take this out of context. It's whatever, but this is just strictly my opinion, okay? Aberdeen is the best possible backcourt mate for Christian Anderson that the Red Raiders have been linked to in the portal so far, period. Okay, he's 6'5", 195, lengthy, athletic, can be a primary ball handler to take the pressure off of Christian Anderson. In that regard, I think he would seamlessly fit into the Chance McMillan role. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying, okay? I am not saying he's Chance McMillan, but I think he could go and give you valuable minutes and play similarly to Chance McMillan. Aberdeen is a better defender. That is not a debate. He is a better defender than Chance McMillan, okay? He is a worse shooter than Chance McMillan. Chance McMillan shoots over 40%. Aberdeen, for his career, is about a 35% shooter from three, right? But Aberdeen is also more lengthy, more athletic in terms of using that length, okay? In addition, like Aberdeen, in my opinion, and again, we might be getting ahead of ourselves here. I'm not saying he's fully going to commit to Texas Tech, but Texas Tech is in the mix, right? And that's all you can ask for a lot of times in terms of going out and being aggressive for these type of players. Aberdeen would solidify the Red Raider backcourt as one of the best in the country, period. End of story. And there is a ton of reasons why Texas Tech is going after him. In the sense of he's had production and he's played a role. Like, I know people are going to look at those stats and see 7.7 points per game. Why are you so excited and infatuated with this guy, RC? Like, he really wasn't doing much. He had the best trio of guards in front of him in Martin, Richard, and Clayton. That was the best backcourt in college basketball last year, and he was the fourth guard on that team and was solid. Okay? I think in a bigger role, he can play really well and be, one of those honorable mentions, maybe slide into an all Big 12 third team type deal, right? But in terms of impact and fit next to Christian Anderson in the Texas Tech backcourt, he would be perfect. He would fit seamlessly, in my opinion. And one of the things, too, that Grant McCasland and crew have shown time and time again when it comes to guys that they target in the portal, okay? And now it's not for everybody, but they've shown it time and time again. There's a history behind this. Texas Tech goes after guys that are winners. Denzel Aberdeen just won a national title. Sucks that Florida beat Texas Tech, but he just won a national title, okay? And that experience would be huge, specifically alongside a guy like Christian Anderson, who's expected to take a monumental step forward, So Texas Tech going after him, obviously because of a ton of skills that he has, but also the winning factor, I think is huge. And this is a name to monitor for Texas Tech. One that I am very, very intrigued by, and I think would, once again, I sound like a broken record, I know, fit seamlessly into that Texas Tech backcourt and be a perfect complement to Christian Anderson in his sophomore season. All right, that's going to do it for today's video. If you haven't already, be sure to like the video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell to join the largest group of Texas Tech fans on YouTube, over 12,000 strong. We're about to be at 12,100 actually here probably by this video. And the best part about these videos on the channel, they're 100% free, okay? Join the largest group of Texas Tech fans and 100% free content. There's not a better duo in terms of those things on YouTube in the tech space. So again, the easiest way to join the Back to 12 squad, like the video, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell for everything on the hardwood, in the portal, and anything in between. We've got you covered. I'm RC Maxfield, reminding you, as always, to stay safe in Reckham Tech.